Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we're going to be taking a look at this Papercraft Society subscription box. So you can get these subscription boxes from the Craft Stash website. This was sent to me as part of the Card Maker of the Year competition winnings, and I'm really excited to have a go at using the products inside this box. This is the first one that I've ever actually seen. I have seen them on the website but never really looked too closely at it. But I know you can order just one-off boxes, you can order subscriptions, and each month they are designed by a different designer, so you will get something different each month. So this one here, just to admire the box slightly, let me just lift it up a little bit. So we've got a little bit of foiling on the sort of brand name there, but just the box itself with all of these sunflowers I just think is absolutely beautiful. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this box for something. So there's just a little tab with a Velcro piece that you can lift up at the front, and it does just open up. So I think this is just the most incredible box. And I'm actually just going to zoom out here a little bit just so you can really kind of appreciate just how lovely this is. So on the inside of the lid here, we've got crafting is the only way to escape without leaving home. And so I'm not sure who the designer is for this, but her name is Ruth. But yeah, just the inside of this, that's such a lovely sentiment there. But you've got this lovely, lovely like cornflower blue in here with all of these sunflowers as well. So when I opened this up, yeah, I was just blown away by how lovely even the box is. So I'm sure the products inside are just going to be absolutely amazing. So the first thing I noticed is we have got just sort of like a little pouch again here with that same design, and I really just love this. I think these are so beautiful. So I think the idea is that you can keep all of your products that come inside this little pouch, you can pop them onto your shelf and keep them all together, because on the side here this has got the box number and who's designed it. So this is box 22. Ruth Mackie McCartan so has designed this box. So if you were to get a subscription to these boxes, you could then just stack these on a shelf, or you know, wherever you put your crafting products, and you'll be able to pick these out and find exactly what you're looking for. So I'm just going to pop our box to one side for the moment. There are a few more goodies just inside there, but let's take a look at the sort of main products to begin with. Okay, so let's take a look in our pouch. So we can open this up. There's just a Velcro dot just to keep it down. Really beautiful. It's going to keep everything nice and secure. So here we have, don't forget to share your makes with us, a hashtag Papercraft Society. So they obviously want to see what you're going to create with your packs, so don't forget to share that hashtag and let them see. So let's take a look at our first section. So there's 3 sections in this pack. So the first one we've got is some dies. So let's take just a piece of paper behind it so we can see what we're looking at. So here we have a thanks a bunch sentiment there. So it's really nice. It's going to be joined together, so you're not going to have to worry about lining that up. We've got a sunflower outline die. We've got then a few other flower dies here which have got some embossed detail on it. So you could die cut this from cardstock, you could die cut it from white and then ink blend it, whatever it is you want to do, but it is going to have some of these really beautiful details on here. We've got some separate leaves in here for you to build it up. We've got this really beautiful sort of stem of different kinds of leaves here. Again, that's got lots of embossed detail on it. We have got a border piece down here. I'm not sure what these 2 pieces are for. We've got an inside piece there. Yeah, just lots in here that you're going to be able to create some really beautiful flower cards or projects with. So moving on to the next section, then we have some papers and toppers here. So we have got our toppers first of all. These have all been foiled with gold, and these are so beautiful. These are like pre-die cuts for you. So you've got some sunflowers here, you've got some tags, and then you do have a topper there. Really, really beautiful. And then we move on to the papers. So there's 2 of each of these designs. So with this particular design, this is like a background ready to go. This is just a card front in itself. You could add a sentiment and then you don't need to add anything else. So you've got 2 of these, so meaning then you've got 4 because it's 2 of each design. But you could also do maybe a bit of decoupage with this because you do have 4 of these. So either make a set of 4 cards or again just cut it up and do some decoupage. That would be really beautiful. So then we have this really lovely design here. We've got a bunch of the sunflowers. We've got some of that foliage. And I really love that kind of blue with that yellow of the sunflowers. I think it just works together really nicely. This one is probably my favourite patterned paper because we do have all of those flowers at the bottom. We have got then that brick effect at the back with then just a couple of butterflies in there. But I really, really love the colours of these. And then the last design we have, this is, you know, more basic. You can add on top of this. So when I say basic, I don't mean that it's basic, you're not going to kind of use it or anything. But, you know, you could build up then your sunflowers on top of this. And it's just going to make a really great, simple background. So those are our papers and the toppers there as well. And then the last section, we do have our stamps. So, you know, even just in this pack alone, for what you're getting, there's a lot here. So then our stamps here, we have got some really beautiful flora images. So we have the sunflower and we've got it with a stem looking at the side view. We've got some really nice leaves in here. We've got 2 really cute bees. We've got a jar, so you could pop your flowers or build them up to look like the jar. And then we do have a bow there as well. So we've got some really nice sentiments. Some of them you can build up. So we've got to a special person. We have a happy birthday. And over here, in a world full of roses, be a sunflower. So I do really love that. We've also got a get well soon there as well. This set would be perfect for making a card for that. We've got 2 sunflowers. We've got different fonts, different sizes. So again, depending on what kind of look you're going for. And then we have a sending you. So we can either do sending you a smile, sending you love, or sending you sunshine. So again, with just what you're getting in this set here, it's definitely going to be worth the money. And again, I really love this like little pouch that you can keep it in. Keeps the whole set together. And yeah, it'll just keep everything in one place and safe. So that is what we have in the pouch. So there's more actually inside the box. So you've got some really beautiful bright yellow tissue paper, which of course you could use on a project as well. So let's just open this up. And let's just take out the few bits we have inside here. So here we have just a little booklet with some inspiration. So I'm not going to show you kind of too much that's inside of this, but we do have different cards, different projects that you can create using this set. So Stampin' Sunshine. So a really beautiful card there. But yeah, lots of designs within this book for you to have a look at. Just some great inspiration there. Then we do have some coordinating cardstock here. So let's just take a look at this. So we've got some sort of really lovely light blue. We've got some light yellow. We've got some green. And then we've got that really, really beautiful kind of yellowy orange colour there. Perfect for making those sunflowers. So that's really nice that we have got then some coordinating cardstock as well. Then we've got a few other little bits. So we've got some gingham ribbon. So this is yellow and it's going to match in perfectly again with our darker yellow cardstock there. Perfect. Then we do have some flower stems. So these are like those wire stems where you can make artificial flowers. So you could use the dies from inside the pack to create your own flowers. You could buy some like foam and things. So you've got the wires, you've got some green tape here. And then we have some kind of little beads. I don't think that you would sort of sew these on in a traditional sense. I'm not sure what you would necessarily do with these. I'd imagine there's some inspiration in the booklet that came with the magazine. Just be careful because I've tipped them all over my desk. But these are absolutely tiny. But yeah, these could be used then for like the centers of those flowers, sunflowers as well. But yeah, you'd have to have a look and see how you would attach those on because I'm not 100% shawl. But just an additional element there for you to be able to create a bit more of a realistic sort of sunflower look. So that's everything that came included in the box. Like I said, this is box number 22. You can go onto the Craft Stash website, have a look at buying one-off boxes, or you can pick up a subscription. But now let's get into creating some cards, actually using this set. So the first card I'm going to create is actually going to be with this set here, and as I said, I'm going to do some decoupage because I think that's going to work really, really nicely. It's going to be quite simple, but I think it's going to work well. So I'm going to start off by just trimming down one of these. So I've trimmed this panel down because it wouldn't quite fit on a A2 size card. So I've trimmed it down to be 3 3/4 by 5 inch. That'll give me a really, really nice border. And all I'm going to do, just quite simply, is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut out some of the elements on here. So what I think I might go with is this sort of really beautiful kind of flower here. So I'm just going to really carefully just cut around this. Okay, so I've just cut 3 of the pieces. So I've actually tried to keep as much of this intact as possible because I could end up using that for a different project. But what I'm going to do now is just add some foam to the back of these. So for the smaller ones, let me just get my pokey tool because I do find it a little easier just to kind of pick these up. And I'm just going to pop these on the back of this piece. So this is just really simple. If you've got more than one piece of patterned paper and you're happy to, you know, use 2 pieces, then you can just do this. It's so simple, just to cut certain elements out and just sort of decoupage these up together. Okay, so let's come in with our first piece just on there. Again, it's just going to add some interest. It's just going to sort of rise it up a little bit. I'm going to use just a little bit of the Simon Says stamp foam tape just to give us some different height as well. And this is just going to be, because we don't need to use then sort of like as much foam tape, and adding this squares is just going to take a little while. So let's take that piece off and let's just line this up. Of course, you could do this another way where you sort of slightly offset it, if that's what you want to do. You know, there's just lots of different ways where you can kind of add just a little bit of fun dimension to your card projects. And we can add this piece just to the bottom there. So I'm not sure how much of that you can kind of see on camera. Let me just sort of turn it to the side. So you can see we've got just that little bit of really kind of fun dimension in there. Again, it's just going to add something a little more interesting to our card. So what I was thinking in terms of a topper is I did quite like this tag here. Now this is kind of coated, but I just thought that would be quite a nice little element just to kind of finish this card off. But what I want to do is actually stamp one of the sentiments. So again, because it's coated, we're going to have to heat emboss this. So I'm just going to pop this into my misting, and then I'm going to take from the stamp set. I think we're going to be able to fit this sentiment here. I'm just going to heat set this, probably with some clear embossing ink as well. So I am going to take my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. We are just going to ink that up nicely. So what you want to be careful with is that you don't move the stamp. When you are stamping onto coated paper like this, the best thing to do is to have something like a misty, because otherwise it will just sit on the surface and potentially you could smudge it. So I'm just going to grab my clear embossing powder and I'm just going to coat that. And then I'm going to heat set that, and that should then stop it from smudging. So now we have our sentiment on our really beautiful tag. Okay, so the last element I need is just a piece of cardstock. So I'm going to take some of this coordinating paper here. And just so we don't kind of waste any, what I'm going to do is actually just simply cut out a piece from the center. Okay, so I can still use that then for something else, and you're not going to see it on here. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this Lawn Fawn liquid glue just around the outside, and I'm just going to add some glue at the same time to our yellow panel. So I've got a top folding A2 size card here. So let's add our yellow layer. Let's then bring in our decoupaged top piece and just hold that down. So what I have got here is just some, this is the Lemonade cord by Lawn Fawn, and I thought that we would just make a bow for our tag. And then the yellow of this is just going to fit in really nicely with that background yellow. So I'm not the best at creating bows, but let's just try our best. Let's just trim those edges. So we've got our bow, and then we can simply just add that. So I'm going to grab some more foam squares, and then we can simply add our tag just on like that. And there's our first card. So for my next card, I've already done a little bit of die cutting. So I've used this outline and cut 3 of these flowers out of just some white cardstock. Out of these 2 here, I used this die for the center, and then for this flower here that doesn't have a center cut, I just die cut that piece. And what I'm going to do is use my alcohol markers just to color these in. So you could use alcohol markers, you could do ink blending, you could just die cut it from the coloured cardstock if you want to, and then sort of add some detailing on top of that, but I just wanted to come in and use my alcohol markers. So I'm going to be using my prism markers here. So for the centre, I'm going to come in just with some brown. So I'm going to start off with kind of my base colour, and then we can just add a little bit of shading in there with a slightly darker shade. So we've got that covered, and then we can just kind of, you know, come around the edge of this die cut again, just to add a little bit of depth in there. So that piece is super easy, and that's done, and like I said, then that is going to sit in the centre of that flower. And then for our actual flowers themselves, again, we're going to be using a couple of shades of the Prism alcohol markers. So I've got sort of an orange and 2 yellow shades here. I'm kind of going off of what the sunflowers look like in the actual box. So we've got some oranges sort of near the bottom, and it goes into that kind of fiery yellow. So I'm actually going to just start off with my lightest shade first, and then I'm going to work down and just sort of blend this in. So what I'll do is I'll just speed this up a little bit, play a little bit of music, just because I think this is going to be a slightly time consuming process. Okay, so that is going to kind of be how my sunflower looks. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and colour both of these, and then we can start sort of bringing the main elements of our card together. Okay, so now I have all of the elements that I need to put my card together. So what I actually went ahead and did was die cut 3 more. So I die cut 2 to have that middle cut out as well, and I did one the same as this one that didn't. So what I thought, because I thought that looked okay sort of as it was, but then when I kind of laid 2 on top of each other, I just think that looks so much better. It looks a lot fuller and it looks more like a sunflower. So I just went ahead and coloured those exactly how you've seen, and they're just gonna lay really beautifully kind of on top of each other. For the one where I haven't cut anything out, one of the inside pieces that came from one of those, I just coloured that in brown. And then I also just coloured in that piece there. This one's going to go in the middle, so you're not going to notice it kind of as much as these two. And then I've just done like a whole bunch of leaves as well, just to add a nice bit of greenery to this. What I've also done, if I just put these to one side, is I've got a slimline card base here. So this is 8.5 by 3.5. I've cut a piece of that blue cardstock. So this was just the right length. So this was 8.25, and I just trimmed it down, and then I trimmed down one of those background panels as well. So what I want to do first of all is just get these pieces glued down. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue. Let's just slide that into place, so I can leave this kind of just to one side for the moment. So I'm going to use a combination of foam tape and just some of that liquid glue. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my dotty tape pen just to add some adhesive to this small piece, and we can just stick that onto its brown background. So I think I want to add just a little piece of foam, not too much, to our centre. So I'll use my Simon Says Stamp Big Mama foam tape for that piece. And we can get that in the middle, just there. And I'm actually going to have this one just lay flat, because like I said, this is going to go in the middle, more so kind of in the background. So let's just line those up just like that. So there's one sunflower done. So for these, what I'm actually going to do is turn these into little shaker elements. So I've got some clear acetate here. I'm just going to cut a square. I'm going to add, just make sure this is my top piece. So I'm going to add just a line of liquid glue just around there. Get that lined back up, and we'll do the same for the other one as well. So add our glue gum. Okay, so that's easy. So we've got those two pieces done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually attach this piece onto my piece that's going to sit underneath, and I want to make sure that I get my centres lined up nicely. And we'll do the same for this one. So again, let's just get everything lined up. Just like that. Okay, so what I've got here is some thin foam. So this is kind of shaker foam here. So what I'm going to do, just to be able to kind of manipulate it better, is I'm going to take the backing off it, and this will just allow me to be able to curve this around. So let's just come as close as we can to our centre, and I want to make sure that I get a nice sort of join in the middle so nothing pops out. Let's just go around this one. So just all the way around. So again, if you take the backing off, It's easier to kind of curve it, it's easier to manipulate it to whatever shape you want. Okay, so there we have our shaker elements there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is add my middle sunflower. Let's just do some nice blubber glue right in the middle of our card. So we're going to go kind of about there. So I've just trimmed a small piece off what we had left over, because this is going to be the same as our background. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take some of these beads, and I'm carefully just going to tip them in, hopefully without spilling them everywhere. So that's probably enough in that one. Okay, let's put the lid on before I spill them. So let's grab our scrap piece of card. It doesn't need to be perfect, it basically just needs to hold them in and have no gaps. So if we turn it over, so there we have a really cool sort of inside shaker element. So I'm happy with that. So let's add some glue onto the back of this. So let's add one just there. And this one can go there, and then we do have to finish it off all of our really beautiful leaves. What I am going to do is just cut most of these stems. So let's then just slip our leaves in. So I want to get them kind of in and poking out everywhere. So I've heat embossed in white embossing powder our sentiment here. Okay, so I've got my sentiment here. I did cut this actually down. I think I much prefer it this way. So to attach this, I just need to add a little bit of foam tape just to one side, because then the other side is going to be propped up by our sunflower there. Let's just add a little piece of adhesive. So we're going to have our sunshine there, and then we can add our and then we'll have our sending you up there. And there is just a really fun sort of partial shaker card there. We've got two shaker elements with those beads. So I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but actually they've made some really brilliant shaker centers for two of our sunflowers there. So I really actually love this card. I think this has just come together so nicely just by using a few die cuts, and it's really just goes to show what you can do. If you enjoy colouring, then just sort of colouring in some really basic dies there. So that is just two cards that we have made in this video. So I was planning to make a whole bunch of cards, but I think I might actually just maybe split the videos down because I think this video is going to be long enough. So here are our first two cards. So there will be a part 2 to this video. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel and you want to make sure that you don't miss that video, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell as well. If you did like this card, then please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to join me in part 2. Thanks for watching and happy crafting.